2.626 miles and one of the most storied passes, or passed, wow, great start, in pretty much any Italian track. We are at the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli for the 10th round of the ESR GT3 Blancpain Series 2020. I am your storied host, almost as storied as this track, Cole McCray. Sadly, today we're not joined by Matthew Higgs. As you may have noticed, he is currently atop the qualifying grid at Misano. I'm instead joined by our exclusive guest and potential future participant, Ayrton Tobin. Ayrton, how's it going?
True. Hello, hello. And Mr. McCray, did you know that Misano World Circuit is a part of the Rimini province in Italy, home to Italia in Miniatura, which is a gigantic display of miniature models recreating entire cities, including the Colosseum and Leaning Tower Pizza. I certainly hope our competitors are stopping there on their way home from the track.
Yeah, I hope they get some delicious pasta as well. I hear their macaroni is astonishing. I as well have access to the Misano Wikipedia page, so it is good to see that our internet is holding up. Yes, as you now know, Misano is a very, very interesting track. First formed in 1972. We actually bring the. I don't think they've had too many GT3 races. I don't think, has Blancpain ever come to Misano? I can't remember, but certainly very storied past with MotoGP and some DTM German touring car races in the past. And so we're looking forward to an interesting race here. We got quite a good field set up for us. Matt Higgs is actually our pole sitter, which I am super surprised by. I've just known him to be total garbage, but glad to see he can actually pull out a good result every once in a while. So let me pull up my.
I'd like to point out, Cole, yes indeed, the GT World Challenge Europe Sprint Car Series does indeed stop at Misano. That is in fact why it's a part of ACC.
Yeah, that I figured it had to have something to do with that, but oops. But yeah, I guess you learn something every day, I suppose. Oh my, what happened here?
I'm seeing our two competitors, Verstappen and Iwanchuk, are still side by side on the standings.
Yes, if I remember correctly, there is a 9-point difference between them in this championship. It's pretty close. 5-point difference, even closer. Wow.
That said, Verstappen did get in a very nice lap at the end and gave himself a little bit of clearance over Iwanchuk here.
Yeah, we have a couple of shakeups here. Wayne Hutchison qualified 14th, or well, I suppose 13th. I'm kind of my tool is not behaving very well, but anyway, near the bottom, that's kind of an unheard of position for Mr. Hutchison, just because that's he's generally proven to be more stable than that. Anyhow, very beginning, our qualifying grid is as follows: Matt Higgs, Christopher Verstappen, Murray Iwanchuk rounding out our podium, Zoltan Kalmandi, Johnny Young, Ricardo Navone. Also another surprise. He normally qualifies up near the podium. Max Simons, Mr. Barker, and a new entrant, Sobrale Eliberto, whose first name I forget. Unfortunately, I don't have that up right now. Douglas DeGroat in 10th. James Butler, followed by Johnny Picha. And another one, a driver we don't see very often at all, Mr. Merchant, whose name I'm not familiar with, followed by Wayne Hutchison, and Car Heroes rounding up our top 15, which is our total grid today. As you see, Mr. Tobin and I are. That is a glitch as a result of a more recent update.
I'd like to point out, 5th place, Sitting Young. While he's in 5th place, he did have the fastest first sector, so
yeah,
could be great on the start here.
Good, very interesting. That is by only 0.05 of a second, though, so that could have been a fluke, or we'll never know.
Stay single file.
It's not allowing me to It's not allowing me to go anywhere. Or go
Well,
back to
McCray,
the...
I would advise heading back to garage.
I
which
can't.
Does not seem to be an option.
It's not allowing me to go back to garage. It's not even letting me drive. I can't even drive. Crap.
Cole McCray, I do advise.
It's not allowing me to drive.
If they come to the final turn and you're sitting there killing your game,
I'm
while
going
you
up
would miss the recording, that would be better than ruining their, start.
Yep, I'm gonna have to quit.
I would quit right now. Well, no, not now.
It's making a noise like I'm missing all my wheels. I don't understand.
Sounds like you're neutral, revving.
Nope.
Return to garage is not an option.
Returning to garage is not an option. You're correct. So my car seems to have started damaged. Okay,
Are you in gear?
I'm in gear, I think. Well, let me just check my HUD real quick. Yeah, I'm in first. It shows I have no wheels. Okay, yep,
Cole,
we're going
I
double
would-
fall. I have to quit. Yep.
Quit. We have a workaround. I have a workaround.
Okay. So, as we see, this has not been our day. I'm going to try and rejoin the server just to see if it'll work.
Cole, hop into a server with me. I will stream the race to you.
Okay.
I can sit here on the side.
Okay.
Second.
So there was talk about... Oh, wait. So okay, never mind. This is going to work. This
It's
is going to
working?
work. Yep, I rejoined and has me in the pit. So, if you want, you can do that as well.
What do you mean, rejoin?
So I just quit, like, pull the plug, and then rejoined the server.
Gotcha.
So it looks like we have our workaround after all. Anyway, that was almost an emergency scenario. Well, I'd normally like to cut a little bit less close than that, but it looks like we have our workaround. Okay.
Yes, indeed.
All right, apologies, ladies and gentlemen. At least we avoided catastrophe here. So that's a silver lining to this cloud.
And no yellow flags even.
Yeah,
Here we go.
We're coming around to the last turn. We have green flags waving. Or no, sorry, the lights are up. No green flags yet. My apologies.
Green light.
And green flag is waving. We have our start to the 10th round of the ESR Blancpain GT3 Series at Misano. Right away, Matt Higgs getting an excellent start off the line. Christoph not giving him too much space to breathe, but as we can see, this has just started, so there's plenty of time for stuff to happen. And that usually does.
A lot of space being given in the back.
A lot of spacing. Looks like we got a gap forming already.
Had a bit of an issue off the start.
So right away we see Iwanchuk, Verstappen, and Higgs pulling away from the rest of the pack.
A wonderfully gentlemanly start from the pack there. Love to see it.
Exactly. It's going up to Curva del Rio right now. Actually, no, that was Tremonto. My apologies. Now to Crevone.
I imagine Iwanchuk is going to want to absolutely stay on the tail of Verstappen here.
Mm-hmm.
If Verstappen gets by Higgs and Iwanchuk does not, it could be a major issue.
A noteworthy development, Ricardo Navona is up to 4th place, down from his 6th place qualifying, which means that he will be right on Iwanchuk's tail. Every single race we've seen so far involves Navone and Iwanchuk duking it out, and looks like this will be no exception. Crossing the finish line for the first time, we still see Matthew Higgs up front, battling it with Christoph Verstappen, but gaining a little bit of time, down to 0.7 of a second between the two. Meanwhile, we have a little bit of a gap developing to Iwanchuk and Navone. They've seemed
Kalmandi, all over the back of Navone.
Yes. Zoltan Kalmandi's been a bit of a wild card the last few races. He hasn't been present the last few, but the ones that he has been, he's been shown to have some pretty fantastic laps. But it can go really bad for him. He's been pretty unlucky, as you see in the Lexus RCF GT3. one of our own only RCFs in the series, aside from Mike Magus, who unfortunately isn't here today. So Daniel Merchant is another one of our newcomers in the Porsche 911 GT3. Sorry, he's not a newcomer, but he hasn't been present for the last about 5 or 6 races.
Track temperature showing 24 degrees Celsius, also known as 75 in freedom degrees. A fantastic temperature.
Freedom degrees, is that bald eagles per McDonald's burger or Big Mac?
I take that as hot ones per tarmac.
Hot ones per tarmac. Good point, good point. John Barker moving his way up the field a little bit. He started out in 8th, moving up to 7th, so made some speed a little, or made some time up a little bit. Excuse me. Just although he appears to have carried Mr. Eliberto with him. Wayne Hutchison is still in 13th place, which is again kind of surprising. He's shown to be very competent, although maybe he hasn't had time to practice on this track like a lot of our other drivers have.
He does, however, have the fabulous livery of Black Falcon.
Is it? I thought he was the body pillar racing now.
Oh, no, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're correct. That is not the Black Falcon.
Yeah, a notable absence. Javier Perez Torres, the other body pillar racing car. So he wasn't able to make it today. I'm not entirely sure why, but that happens sometimes. Wayne Hutchinson
Meanwhile,
being
Higgs
followed by car heroes with not too much breathing room. You were saying, Mr. Tobin?
And Higgs staying steady up front. Not pulling away, but definitely not under pressure from Verstappen here.
Yeah, I'm almost going to wonder if Ricardo Navone losing a giant chunk of time on Marie Iwanchuk, his bitter rival. In the standings, they are pretty close, if I remember correctly, to each other. No, actually, no, they're not. My apologies. Still, though, going to be wanting to make up as many points as you can, because we are approaching the end of the season. As you may or may not know, this is our last double sprint weekend, so there will be 2 races, 40 minutes apiece, or 45 minutes apiece. And with a brief break in the middle, we might do another qualifying. We're not supposed to, but it looks like it keeps assigning us one anyway. So that'll give us a little breather, a little time for the drivers to kind of cool down and to stay warm as well, though. Notable battles happening right now. Johnny Young against Ricardo Navone. Johnny Young has set some blazing laps around tracks in the past. If I remember correctly, he did very well at Brands Hatch. But he seemed to be struggling the last few races just to, well, not necessarily against anyone, but Navone is normally proven to be a little bit more composed of a racer. So it's good to see that Mr. Young is holding on to Navone. Looks like Zoltan Kalmandi actually got by Ricardo. Can't say I remember exactly seeing that when it happened, but that's another notable change. So the gap to Marie Iwanchuk from Ricardo Navone is about 8 seconds or so. So looks like that battle's falling off the map, which is
A couple of great battles here. Looks like De Groot just got by Pichia. And James Butler.
Yeah, James
all over
Butler.
the back of the Ferrari he's chasing.
Mm-hmm. So Sanja Sobral Eliberto, one of our newcomers here, showing a pretty strong start. I think he's an amateur driver, if I remember seeing that at one point. Yeah, but James Butler, apologies. I see, even 10 races in, I still struggle with the J names. I don't know why. It's probably because there's 11 million of them. But
Keep your eye on the lead. Verstappen up front, really starting to reel in Higgs bit by bit here.
oh, yeah, look at
Might
that,
just give
only
us something
6
to talk
tenths.
about.
Yeah, no kidding. Since these are sprint races, the interesting thing is going to be the strategy. Does he want to push right now and get it done, or does he want to try and maybe stay on Higgs's butt and try to make him force a mistake?
Could be saving his tires a little, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Because the last minute push is something that's been very effective in races past.
That is easier said than done. I imagine he's going for that pass as soon as he can get it.
Yeah, especially considering this is a sprint race. Of note, Wayne Hutchison got passed by Car Heroes, so must have had an off or something. He is about 4 seconds down, so that is that's surprising to me. Sure, he's proven to be one of the more clean racers in this series.
Butler going for the pass. Oh, there's contact.
Oh,
He is off.
oh, what happened there?
Well, Butler was going around the outside,
Yeah, we're going
and
to replay.
two drivers heading for the same location. It
Oh,
looked to be.
yeah, Sanja just clipped him a little bit. Maybe got a little aggressive under braking. Looks like he waited up, but still didn't give the position back. Well, we'll have to see how that works out, I suppose.
Butler, even with that, is catching right back up to him. Tells me he might be getting a little held up here and carrying better pace.
Yeah, it looks like it. As we pop into, we just came out of Curvacaro, now into Misano corner, as we finish this lap number 5.
I see Butler's only 2 points behind John Barker here, and only 3 behind Max Simmons. So, every pass here can mean a whole lot.
Yeah, where is Mr. Simmons? I don't see his name. Did he quit? We might have lost.
Doesn't appear to be in this race.
We lost Mr. Simmons. Ooh, that's going to be devastating for his season because, as you said, very tight battle.
For that final 10th spot.
That's going to be terrible. Meanwhile, Verstappen right on Higgs's butt tootie. Only about half a second, so he's eking his way up. Sorry.
Safe to say, Iwanchuk has lost the leaders at this point.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Navone and Kalmandi almost over 10 seconds down. So, that truth be told, that's very surprising to me. So this is an interesting battle we see forming, or kind of, it's already been formed, but the dynamics of these two race cars are very different, very sort of diametrically opposed. Well, the Huracan GT3 EVO is no slouch. The Bentley has definitely an advantage in straight line speed, and this track, while not exactly a Tilcadrome, has some long sections followed immediately by short, tight sections. So
Higgs got a much better run out of that final turn.
I was just gonna say, yeah, he ended up getting. Oh wow, Verstappen absolutely butchering. Was it? I believe that was Variante Arena.
Meanwhile, Butler has pulled into the pits. He was right on the tail.
Uh-oh.
And he is dove into the pits.
Looks like Zoltan Kalmandi and Ricardo Navone as well. So I wonder what happened. Maybe they had some damage. I wonder if Butler was damaged from that incident he had with Sanjay Aliberto.
You're the expert on these things, Mr. McCray. Is there any sort of required pit stop?
Not in the sprint race. Oh, you know what? There might be. You're right, there is. Apologies. I totally forgot about that. I thought that was only in the the longer races. But yes, there is a pit. All tires and fuel must be changed. Or be, so...
I would say that was a very good move for Butler. Then he clearly had more pace in the car in front of him and was being held up, so diving into the pits a little early could play off very nicely if he gets out in some clean air.
Yeah, certainly. Let's pop on board with Christoph Verstappen.
I have to wonder here if Verstappen's going to try the undercut on Higgs.
It might be smart, but also
there couldn't be too much of an undercut. There isn't going to be much tire wear. It's a short race.
Very short. As you can see, Verstappen also has very high traction control settings, so it will be difficult to cause too much damage, although it certainly can be done. Oh my! Last corner taking very wide. It looks like he's falling off on his lap pace. Murray Iwanchuk catching.
In the pits.
Okay. Iwanchuk is also in the pits. So our two leaders have both elected to stay out. Pit window closes in 6 minutes and 9 seconds, as you can see. And that is a 10-minute window, splitting the race neatly in half. So 5 minutes on the one half, 5 minutes on the other. However, the rules have been adjusted. Previously, if you missed the pit window, you were disqualified. Now they've changed it so it's only 150 seconds added onto your time, which is still pretty devastating, although isn't completely debilitating as it used to be. So as we can see, Verstappen is gaining plenty of time on Higgs through the long sections, as I sort of noted with the car difference, but Higgs just blows him away during the twisties. That would be Curvacaro and Variante del Parco, but they seem to be averaging out more or less, set aside for the time that one of them makes a mistake, as we've seen in the past.
Butler, meanwhile, has remerged out of the pits 1 lap down
Oops.
and just behind Verstappen, so he's getting a nice view of this battle for the lead and appears to be in pretty good position. He's behind 2 cars, but they are the leaders, so I would imagine they won't be holding him up too much, even on his fresh tires.
Yes.
Keep it up.
So that is our halfway point. Oh, so
To me,
the
this race looks all like just damage control for Elon Shuck at this point. He wasn't catching the 2 leaders, but with just 2 points separating 2nd and 3rd place, if he just continues to run in 3rd place, he should not miss out on too much to
Is he-
Verstappen.
yeah, that's a good point. Is he battling Verstappen for the championship?
Yes, Elon
Okay.
Shuck came into the race 5 points.
Oh.
Ahead.
Oh yes, we talked about that earlier, didn't we? Some notable switches. Car Heroes got by Doug DeGroat. So I don't know if there was some damage or something or what happened there.
Perhaps Diagroat's pitted?
But they both pit. That's what the green
Okay.
means. So, or you maybe you
Correct.
perhaps don't see that. So the only people who have not pitted yet or
I see
aren't
that
in the
now.
pit
Yep.
are Wayne Hutchison, Christopher Streppen, and Matt Higgs. So our leaders and the tail end.
Looks like everyone else is in the pits right now, other than our 2 leaders.
And Wayne Hutchison. So currently in the pits, John Barker, Sonja Eliberto, and David Merchant. I apologize. I need to get used to his name. Daniel Merchant. So John Barker just leaving the pits. And we still see Christopher Streppen holding on to Matt Higgs. Now as who takes
our
his
leader
pit
is
stop.
pitting.
So
So
we'll
is
see.
Verstappen.
Verstappen is as well, so they are right next to each other. Unfortunately, unlike some other racing events that we've had, there is no choosing what you there's no electing to take less or more pit implements, so to speak. You have to take all 4 tires. You have to take fuel. So.
Should be pretty even here then.
Mhm.
But Elon Shuck did pit a couple laps ahead, so let's see if on those fresh tires he can make up any time. I imagine he should be a little closer to these leaders afterwards.
Absolutely. We do have a battle breaking out between Johnny Young and James Barker.
Especially with the clean air.
John Barker,
Elon
apologies.
Shuck's been running in, and the way those 2 leaders were fighting, I would not be surprised to see Elon Shuck making up a whole ton of time here.
Oh yeah. Although Higgs did pull away from Verstappen during the last few laps, so he might have been able to find some clean air.
Speaking of which, Higgs is away.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the Elon Shuck, rounding the final turn.
The battle for 6th of John Barker and Johnny Young.
This is a long, slow pit out.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Shuck, crossing the starting line. Oh, this is going to be close.
Oh my, and Iwanchuk's gonna get the out. So he made up great time on that. So now Iwanchuk is ahead of Verstappen with 9 minutes left to go in this race. Higgs, I don't know how Higgs did
gone.
it, but he made a fantastic. He made like a bandit on that pit stop. I don't know how that even
some
worked.
good time was just made slowing down, speeding up out of pit road.
Yeah, wow.
Either way, fantastic move from Murray and Iwanchuk.
Yeah, so that will bring the fight to Christopher Streppen. That is terrible news for Christoph because now he actually is in danger of losing his championship spot. What is he, 2nd?
He's 2nd.
Yeah.
He's not in danger of losing that, but
Oh no, you're right.
he does need to pass Iwanchuk here to force his hand into the final race.
So Mr. Matt Higgs is now coming up. Well, he actually already passed one of our back markers, Doug DeGroat. Notable advances made. Our hard charger award might go to Wayne Hutchison, who made up 4 spots in his pit stint. So
Very nice.
So from 15th up to 11th, looks like we lost Max Simmons. So I count it though. Now doing battle with Car Heroes as they approach Misano corner, our final corner.
Let's put it this way: if Christoph Verstappen were to not even win out, but just finish one spot in front of Murray Iwanchuk the remaining 3 races, he would beat him in the standings. That said, that's regardless of what Iwanchuk does. So Verstappen can force his hand. But if Iwanchuk holds his position here, Verstappen's gonna need Iwanchuk to maybe make a mistake in the last race.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And that's something we've seen happen, certainly. We've seen some of our titans of industry sort of falter and fall a little bit in some races. So it's not out of the question, but it would be a much better position to be in. Wayne Hutchison going very wide and having a nice slide as he comes around, I believe that's Curvone.
despite losing out time under that pit sequence, Verstappen is catching Iwanchuk, and he showed before he had more pace than him. So this is gonna, but only 6 minutes to go, hard to pass. He's gonna have to make something happen here.
Yeah, and with that, our pit window's closed. Everyone has pits, so we're not going to have any issues with further timing problems, so that's good. We do have a nice...
I do not believe we are overstating ourselves to say we are watching the top 2 drivers in the standings going head-to-head here on the track, potentially for the championship right here.
Meanwhile, some more battles breaking out. James Butler versus John Barker for the battle for 8th, but they're so close to Johnny Young and Sanja Eliberto for the 6th place, so we could have a potentially 2-by-2-way battle. So Sanja making or getting made move, I can't speak. Johnny Young is making a move. Oh, Johnny Young completely botches that. James Butler goes off the course. There is a complete mess. What just happened? Hold on here.
Terrible for Butler. He was having a fine recovery there.
Oh my gosh, that was a mess. Let's go for the replay. We didn't get as good of a view as I'd hoped, but that was a glad we switched to that for that thing. Butler taking a bit of an odd shortcut. I'm not sure if that'll be... Well, he's not going to be worried about his lap time to begin with, but oh, what an incident. Oh, and Butler's returning to the pits. He got disqualified for cutting the track like I did during the practice session.
Terribly unfortunate. I don't believe that was a cut. That was just getting caught up in an accident, losing control over the gravel.
You'll see on my stream, he did cut, but for some reason it treats that as cutting so egregiously that you're now going the wrong direction.
That is a shame.
Yes. So, what an interesting turn of events.
I would love to hear an interview with him right now.
Yes. Meanwhile, Wayne Hutchison making a move on John Picha and having it pass, so making up another spot. That's his 6th into 10th place. Very good. Very clean. Nothing really to say about it other than that.
Verstappen has been stuck about 8/10 behind Iwanchuk. Hasn't been able to close the gap beyond this.
Daniel Merchant making a nice pass around Sandra Eliberto. Let's go to our leaders. Kind of leaders. Podium.
It's true. Higgs is gone at this point.
Higgs is checked out. Let's go on board with Mr. Verstappen.
I see the marshals of this race are pretty kind with allowing drivers to use these curbs.
Yeah, it certainly seems so. So Matt Higgs is 6 seconds ahead of Iwanchuk. Which is surprising because normally he sucks. Man, Matt Higgs, like, he stinks to high heaven sometimes, so it's good to see that he's finally put his voracious ineptitude aside and able to overcome that. Good job, Matt. I take back, well, most of the bad things I've said about you. Not all of them. Ooh, Verstappen making a, well, never mind. It looked like a dive, but he was able to corral it pretty well, so never mind to that statement. Meanwhile, Doug DeGroat entering frame at the second there. We've kind of seen our battles dissolve a little bit, although it seems like Note Novone is all on his own, so nothing to be said about that. So truly then, our only battle is the one for second place. Murray Iwanchuk versus Christoph Verstappen. Verstappen getting right on Iwanchuk's ass. Knocking down another 10.5 over the last sector, so down to 4/10 gap.
Yep.
Now down to 3/10, so another 10th. About a minute 35 per lap on this track, so it'll probably be 3 laps until we go checkered flag. Oh,
around the
Verstappen
outside.
going around the outside. That is not what I would call a smart maneuver, considering that this is sort of a triple turn complex here. But it was a move. Luckily, he didn't end up too bad out of it, but didn't get the pass that he had
Allowing a
wanted
lot
to.
of room there.
Yeah. Tip of the hat for clean driving. Pulling out wide, maybe going to try and get a run at you and Chuck through the next corner, which is Misano. Oh, no, not Misano. I don't know what turn that is. I was trying to figure it out, but that might be Tramonto, actually. So I'm kind of surprised, though. The Bentley has not been shown to be quite as dominant on the streets as it usually does. I wonder if that's down to tuning, or if the drivers are not just able to get a run out of corner exit as well as they would like to.
Certainly could be running a higher level downforce.
Could be. Which is interesting because, like I said earlier on, this track has plenty of opportunity to have nice, long, straight passing zones as we come into our final corner on our 13th lap.
Very nice run out of the last turn for Verstappen.
Oh, yeah. So this is where the Bentley really shines. Gonna go make for a
he's
pass.
on
He's
the
there
outside.
side by side. Going on the outside. He's going to try and get the cutback, probably. Cutback, not cutback. Oh, my. Again going for the cutback. Wow, this time Iwanchuk had a pretty disastrous turn, but he was able to hold off Verstappen, so it doesn't really matter. We will have probably one more lap after this one.
Isn't for the win, but I doubt these guys could care less. This is for all the marbles.
It might as well be. It might as well be, Ayrton. Verstappen goes very wide after on.
That's gonna be tricky to recover from.
Yeah. Well, he didn't lose too much time, only down to about third of a second. But it will still be, it's one more thing he has to overcome on his path to victory. So the real question is, will Matt Higgs cross the finish line before the timer runs out? I don't think he will.
Verstappen's gonna have maybe 3 more opportunities here.
He's going to have to put the pedal to the metal to make that happen. Although, it might happen, so let's...
He got a fantastic run out of the last lap. You won't have the first turn to make a lunge, but can he get that run?
Great question.
More importantly, will there be another lap?
Yes, I was just looking. Yep, leader finished the race, checkered flag. So that is our final lap. Verstappen having a fantastic run out of the final corner, Misano corner, but it is not going to happen. He just doesn't get the run, gets a little bit untidy on the exit, and that will be the end of that.
Wow, folks. Massive round of applause to Murray Iwanchuk.
Yeah, certainly.
Finding
What a
himself
run.
A large gap to the drivers ahead of him. Just a beautiful move with pit strategy there to get the track position.
So our results for race 1 before we lose them all. Matt Higgs in a fantastic first place on pole, followed by Murray Iwanchuk and Christopher Streppin rounding out the podium. Ricardo Navone in a surprising 4th place, followed by Zoltan Kelmandi, as a very good run for him. Sorry. John Barker and Johnny Young, both having a very good race, followed by Sanjo Sobrale Eliberto and Wayne Hutchison making a fantastic move up into 9th place. John Picha following him, and again by Car Heroes, Doug DeGroat and Daniel Merchant rounding out our top 13. What happened to Butler? Oh, yeah, right. He
Disqualified.
Disqualified for cutting. Yeah, I was flabbergasted at what I saw there. So, quite an interesting race we've had. Probably one of the best in our recent memory,
Absolutely.
I can say.
I mean, strategy enthusiasts all around the world are going to be cheering
Strategy
that
enthusiasts.
race by Iwanchuk. That was, I said earlier, it was a matter of mitigating the damage, and boy did he. That was a beautiful race.
Certainly.
Those are the kind of things you have to do to take that #1 place on the podium at the end of the season.
Certainly. If I take a look at qualifying, looks like not a whole lot of movement. John Barker up 2 spaces as well. But I think their hard charger award is going to go to Wayne Hutchison. Started 15th place, made his way all the way up to 9th. That is the best I can see right here. Excuse me. Ricardo Navone gaining 2 spaces up from 6th to 4th. And so it looks like we are doing another qualifying session. So We're not supposed to, but this is the way it's ended up working out. So we got 25 minutes of
If
qualifying.
no one were to qualify, would it simply put them back in the same order?
That's a great question. I don't know. So
It would
while we're
certainly
here,
seem so.
might as well see if I can drive my car at all.
Well, folks, while we're sitting here in between sessions, I want to take a trip down to the Arch of Augustus, also near Misano. This beautiful arch was built in 27 BC as a part of the Flaminia defenses in Italy. It was destroyed, as well as the remaining wall around it, but the main part of the arch does remain. It was later renamed after Caesar Augustus, and stands as just a beautiful piece of artwork of the bridge and the stonework in Italy. It's very near the track as well. Go check it out. I recommend everyone does.
No, so what's the most entertaining thing I could find in that exhibit, do you think?
Are you talking of the miniatures of Italy or the archway of Augustus?
The Arch of Augustus.
Well, it's an arch, so you walk under it and you look at it.
Oh,
You
good.
take pictures of it.
Excellent. I think it's important to note that this track didn't used to be called, well, it always was called Misano, but recently it's been renamed in 2012 to Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli, and that's to commemorate the famed Moto GP racer Marco Simoncelli, who died at the track after a terrible... wait, did he die at the track? I don't think he died at the track. He just died. In 2011. And yeah, he lived in the local area of Misano. And Misano Adriatico. And yeah, it was good to see he had his... there was a very big... very big kind of festival and stuff to commemorate his honor. I was just looking in more further. He actually died in a motorcycle accident at Sepang, so in MotoGP. Although it's to be noted that he raced for 10 years, but when he died in 2011, he was just 24. So he had been racing in MotoGP since he was 14. That is astonishing. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like that in professional racing.
Here's how important that final fight was between Iwanchuk and Verstappen. With those 2 points gained by Iwanchuk, even if he loses 2 points and finishes behind Verstappen here, that would give them a 5-point difference heading into the last race, where the difference between first and second will be... So Iwanchuk...
Ayrton, can you repeat that? Ayrton, can you repeat that? You cut out.
I'm just saying that with Iwanchuk gaining 2 in that one position, even if he were to now finish a position behind and lose 2 points, head into the final race 5 points apart, where the point difference between first and second will be 4 points. So because he regained that position, Iwanchuk can still finish behind Verstappen in the next 2 races and hold on to the top.
Oh wow, that's a good point. Okay. So wow.
But Iwanchuk will need to finish at least within 1 place of Verstappen here if he wants to maintain that.
Yeah. That is a good
That
point.
said, that should not be too difficult. The gap from 3rd to 4th in that first race was quite substantial.
That's true.
We'll see if anyone here wants to step up and catch them.
One thing I just realized that I'm kind of surprised that we are missing Toby Howard here. He has been one of the only racers to be at every single race. Oh, that's actually not true, but he has well, he hasn't been one of the only ones, but he's been one of the most notable to attend every race. So this is a first time we haven't seen the Grape Ape romping around our track, which is unfortunate. I wonder why that is. Also, another notable absence, Andrew Anderson, who was battling with Ricardo Navone, actually, or no, with Wayne Hutchison, actually, last we saw. So he could be in some jeopardy here when come the end of the championship after these 2 races here at Misano, and then our final one enduro, well, hour race at Paul Ricard.
And the man of much Dutch himself, Mike Stoffmill, still missing after being abducted by aliens a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
Not sure what happened with him.
Yeah, well, I heard that he was getting probed in every orifice that can be probed, and the aliens are trying to figure out how he's so good at driving. And,
well, one day he will return to us.
Yeah, hopefully they figure that out and distribute the genetic code on the internet so I can get one of those. Heather's seeing our first few laps, qualifying laps come in. Maru E1 truck sitting at 136, so not the best, but he is still at the top currently. Obviously, that won't stand for very long, as these usually tend to. One disappointing absence is Jack Simpson. He was only in 1 or 2 races, but he was very promising as one of the ESR Academy graduates. I forget, I was told at one point why he wasn't coming. I think it was just regular, like, daily life conflicts, but I was really rooting for him. He was a very promising first newcomer, should I say, or graduate.
Fun little fact here. Scuderia AlphaTauri, formerly known as Toro Rosso, just unveiled their new car for the 2020 season here a few months ago, right here at Misano Raceway.
Really?
Yep.
This track
First
isn't
time
on the
I saw the
Formula
track.
1 docket, is it?
It's not, but it is in Italy, which is also home to Scuderia AlphaTauri.
Huh. So I imagine they probably did some testing here?
Absolutely. Thoughts first shakedown at the hands of Daniel Kvyat and Pierre Gasly.
Very nice. So as we see, John, wait, hold on one sec. Where, isn't he in? Okay, yeah, so James Butler is still present. So despite that disqualification in the last race, he will be present for the next one, which will be a major setback to be sure. He might be able to get that appealed to our race directors, but I'm not confident it will work out that well. We'll see.
Well, you know, Butler had a lot of speed in that last race, and I'm betting he's going to be running with flames behind him in this race,
Oh,
working
yeah.
his way forward.
Yeah, if I were him, I would have the fire in my eyes after that.
Of course, that can cause problems.
Yes, certainly. Although Butler is generally, well, he isn't the very cleanest driver ever. He's on the cleaner side. He's been generally very good. He's had some bad luck in some past races. Brands Hatch being the one that comes to mind that I can think of, but generally proven to be pretty solid and pretty stable. What's interesting is he is separated from John Barker in the NSX EVO by 2 points in this championship. So that DQ, depending on its appellate state, might just be the end of that. Also, Max Simmons leaving. He was leading John Barker by 1
That's
point.
true. This is Barker's opportunity.
So Barker's
Seize
gonna
control.
Exactly. So he might even make up some time on Picha. I forget where Picha finished the last race, but they're only 19 points away. So we could see some pretty big shakeups here in the next few races. Which is kind of interesting because James Butler and John Barker really don't battle with each other that much. Like, they always find themselves on kind of opposite ends of the field. But it's interesting how their scores kind of average out to be almost exactly the same through these last 9 races. So currently, Johnny Young is making a valiant effort in qualifying, making it up to 3rd place just behind, what happened here? Christopher Streppin. Lost my interface. Alright, but as this qualifying is still in flux, we'll cut out for now and rejoin you when we have about 2 minutes to go. See y'all then. We're watching Zoltan Kamandi's car just flip out a little bit. Got all the lights flashing, so that's good.
Yes, indeed. This is Ayrton McCray and Cole Tobin replacing the former host who had a short but bloody fight over the ethics of using Wikipedia.
Yes, yes, it's true. We will now no longer have fights over ethics because we have none. No
It's true.
ethics allowed in this stream.
But as you say that,
Owie.
Maury Iwanchuk has just hopped over Zoltan Kalmandi for that all-important third spot right on the tail of Verstappen, who was just taken first. Oh my.
Ooh, very nice. Are they playing Leapfrog?
Yes, I think so. It looks like it's Kalmandi and Higgs' turn up next.
Very nice. Let's see if that happens. Wow. Wait, do my eyes deceive me? Did Christopher Streppen take the pole? He did.
Ooh, all those things I said about Iwanchuk finishing one spot behind Verstappen, that goes out the window if he's 2 spots behind.
It's true, but as we know, everything changes when the green flag waves. We had an actually miraculously clean race. Only, what, a couple of minor incidents, I think? But
Well,
we'll
this
see
should
if
be
that...
very interesting with Verstappen starting in front of Higgs, who clearly demonstrated much faster pace in race 1.
Yeah, although we have seen some clouds roll in, the track has gotten a little bit colder.
Ooh, 24 degrees Celsius. Here we go.
I don't think there's any... I don't think there's any chance of rain, but I mean, there could be. And that'll maybe affect our drivers' behavior. I don't want to say that there's any difference between the cars performance-wise, but you look at that car list, and for the most part, they're pretty. They broke off into little like, what's it called, blocks. Got the Lamborghinis up front, the Porsches kind of at the back, the Ferraris in the middle.
Alright, folks, soon as we hit the track, I believe myself and Cole McCray will be backing out and rejoining.
It's true. So we found that the last race, it is the most elegant to just quit and rejoin. Originally, I was worried that it wouldn't let us back in, but the emergency forced our hand, so we did that, and it worked out better than we could have hoped. So, shout out to that. For our qualifying for race 2, we have the following. Christopher Streppen is our pole sitter. Giggity. Matt Higgs follows him in second place, and following him is Murray Iwanchuk, rounding out our podium. Zoltan Kalmandi is in fourth, followed by Johnny Young, Ricardo Navone, Sanja Eliberto. One of these is John, one of these is James. James Butler, John Barker. John Barker, there we go. Okay, yes, okay. Then Douglas DeGroat on our 10th position. Daniel Merchant in 11th, John Picha, and rounding out our race is Car Heroes.
It appears we must have lost Wayne Hutchison at some point.
We did. I was just going to note that. We lost Wayne Hutchison earlier. We had lost Max Simmons, and I think there might be one more casualty. I'm not sure, though. Oh, this time it just started me in the pits.
Fantastic.
Hey, no complaints. So let me get the camera situated correctly. Already it's turning into a little bit of a mess, but let's go on board with our helicam.
Now we just hold our breaths that the game does not, for some unforeseen reason, place these 2 cars out on track when the race starts.
Okay, well, you just made me check. So, now it looks like we're good. Excellent-o.
Always fantastic. In Assetto Corsa Competizone, getting to see the drivers actually perform their outlap, get to watch them weave and warm their tires.
And hopefully
With a
not
little
crash and explode
scrubbing
everything.
dance.
Ayrton, do you remember the button it is to turn back on driver names?
Nope.
Okay.
Mine have always been on.
Mine were too, but they just disappeared. It's not that important.
Surely you would want them off.
Well, it was nice to see where to, for drivers who weren't familiar with what exactly we were talking about at any given time, to just say, hey, okay, there's that word that guy just said. But it doesn't really matter.
Fair enough. Alright, what can Matt Higgs do into turn 1?
That is a good question, the answer of which I think we'll find out momentarily.
Ooh. Reppin always ready for the fight. Matt Higgs up there. Kalmandi. Ooh, this could be fun going into turn 1 with Iwanchuk. I think we've got a great fight coming up.
I think so too. I think so too. So, Parker and Butler, what was I gonna say? Bart? Holy crap! Barker and Butler, true to form. There we go. Are right next to each other. So just as in the championship, they are
Yep.
next to each other in points and in position. So that'll be a battle to watch out for.
Worth pointing out, there's currently a 7-point gap in between Iwanchuk and Verstappen. If they were to finish in this position, Verstappen would take the lead by 1 point heading into the final race. So this is going to be a race for the ages right here.
So Verstappen really needs that to hold that position. Ooh, contact before the race starts. Verstappen nudges Matt Higgs. Oh, a nightmare. Oh, now we got Johnny Young going up. Oh, freaking Sanjay Surali. Oh, what a... Ooh, that's not good.
They can reform. It's just important that everyone stays clear of damage.
I think it's clear. It's be good if we had everyone stop.
The tone has been set.
Yeah, wow, the aggression is real. Good, glad we had no real T-bones. Sanjay Sabrale might have done a little bit of damage to Johnny Young. Let's actually take a look at Young's car to see if there's any... Oh, Johnny Young is way back there, so he needs to make up quite some space. He is in last currently.
These drivers need to be letting him by.
Okay, woo, he's going real fast. Oh, this is going to be dangerous.
He's in the right place now.
Okay, he's in the right place, on 5th. Okay, in 5th.
It looks like the outside line is forming up.
Okay. Well, we are approaching our last corner right now as we speak. So this is it.
I believe Young and Navone are on the incorrect sides. Yes, they are, but looks like they're going to let it slide.
Yeah. So anyway, lights are up, lights are on, and green flags are waving. This starts our second portion of the 10th round of the ESR ACC GT3 Series at Misano. We have Christoph Verstappen being overtaken on the outside by Matt Higgs, who has the inside for the next round.
Oh.
But Verstappen has a better run, and that Bentley's power, he's able to put it down and make it happen. In the back, we see Johnny Young fighting for position with Ricardo Navone, but Navone is cutting him off. Christopher Verstappen goes on the outside. Matt Higgs goes on the inside, gets tapped a little bit, but he holds it. What happened?
Higgs.
Matt Higgs, oh, yep, you're right. Higgs is trying to get that position back.
Great run out, but Verstappen took the line away. Higgs wants by.
And he's not, even with that great run out, he's not got too much chance with the Bentley's amazing straight line speed. He's going to make a dive on the inside. No, he breaks these into a little more cautious, which is probably a good idea. Meanwhile, Johnny Young disappears a little bit, is passed by Zoltan Kalmandi, who takes the position of 5th. Okay, so Verstappen has got a little tiny bit of breathing room, but not much. He's gotta make sure to defend correctly, but not so hard that he ends up getting himself taken out. Meanwhile, Johnny Young getting passed by, I believe that's Doug DeGroat and Sanjay Eliberto. Ooh, John Barker having a spin. Going down to 13th place. Oh, that's not good.
Only one position ahead of that McCray guy.
Yeah, what a loser.
All right. Well, the leaders are in order.
Yeah, so... I mean, what was that you said earlier about Matt Higgs having a way better pace than Christopher Verstappen?
We'll see. There were words in between that Verstappen was feeling pretty racy come the end of race 1.
That's good. That's what you need to have when you are racing, in fact.
True.
So let's go on to regular cameras here. I just realized you spent like a lap and a half on the helicam.
Higgs, though. Whoa.
Oh, Higgs is eating up Verstappen. Oh my gosh, we're going to go on board with Matt Higgs.
You know, Verstappen, he doesn't need to beat Higgs here. I know he wants that win, but contact between these two would just be detrimental to his title fight. He just needs to finish ahead of Iwanchuk.
Higgs is making some bold maneuvers, but I'm not sure if... Oh, dipping 2 off track. Looks he's able to keep it together. Ooh, Murray Iwanchuk having an awful turn. Losing quite a bit of space.
Is keeping contact this race.
Yeah, so Navone is...
Kalmandi.
Yeah, Kalmandi's holding on, though.
Higgs back again.
Whoops, wrong button. Yeah, Higgs is back, so he just devoured... Oh, Verstappen getting a little bit squirrely.
Verstappen's feeling the pressure, no doubt.
He is. With driving a car the size of a cruise ship, though, it might be a little hard for Matt Higgs to get by Verstappen. The HMS Bentley has quite an ass.
He was
So
pretty comfortable as well. Should help him keep his cool.
yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, do you think he has heated and cooled seats?
I would imagine there's a functioning bar in there.
Ooh, good. Do you think they offer escort services?
Undoubtedly, for the winner at least.
Oh
That's why he's racing so hard.
yeah, good point. Emphasis on hard. Meanwhile, we're gonna take a quick break to look at Daniel Merchant, who is putting the hurt on Sandro Sobrale Eliberto in the Ferrari 488. Oh my! Car Heroes going way off. Doesn't look like Pizza's gonna be able to make it up.
Oh, Cole, check back in with our leaders. Higgs had a bit of a run.
Higgs has a bit of a run.
But he's remaining very respectful of Verstappen's line.
Verstappen did well to qualify on the pole. Like I keep saying, that Bentley is very hard to make up time against. A, being wide, and B, having great straight line speed. As you can see, just pulling away on that back straight there. It's gonna be hard for Higgs to make a maneuver on that. While it does, the Lamborghini certainly. Ooh, Christoph Verstappen going very wide and getting a little bit unkempt, but able to reel it back in. That was a great save.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking for is this pit stops again. Ewan Chuck made up a lot of ground, and he's going to have the opportunity. Again, he finds himself basically the same distance behind the two leaders.
That's a good point.
What
I didn't notice that.
can he do?
Just a
Do
little
you think
under
the two
2
leaders
seconds.
will wise up a little to this time and not let him undercut them?
Could be. I would think it would require almost a substantial bit of luck on Ewan Chuck's part in order to be able to get back in. It just seems that Higgs and Verstappen in this case just have too much pace, unless they start really battling and really well. We did see that incident where Verstappen got a bit untidy, so we could see that happen again. It's not unheard of. Although Zoltan Kelmondi putting in a very good lap, getting right on up on Ricardo Navone. Only
Absolutely.
2/10, so we might see a pretty good race for him.
Butler as well.
Yeah, I was
back of De Groot.
I was just gonna say, Butler is eating De Groot right up.
Couple Porsches back here together.
Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate. Oh, John Barker looks like he had another spin. Down 13 seconds now. He was only a couple off of John Picha, so that might be the end of this for John, unless he can...
there goes that advantage we thought he would have.
Yeah, unless we can get back... maybe get a run in that pit scenario, kind of like we saw Higgs have.
Fantastic fights all around.
Yeah, no kidding. Verstappen and Higgs, of course, right
Butler
on each other.
On the back. Almondi all over the back of Navone. But as I head into that first sector, say we keep our eyes on Mr. Higgs here.
That's what I was just gonna say. So let's pop on the helicam. Sure enough, as you can see, that Bentley does pull away in the straights, but the Lamborghini takes it right back, and I would argue plus some in the corners. Not necessarily sure if that's Higgs's driving. It could be. I don't think so. He's a terrible driver.
Verstappen is taking away the line.
Yeah.
Beautifully done.
Verstappen is defending very wholesomely. Not that Higgs would agree with that statement.
Ewan Chuck, however, is really losing them this time.
Yeah. Up to 3.5 seconds. By the next timing line, I would almost argue that's up to 5 nearly. What's really interesting is that Car Heroes is being lost by Daniel Merchant. Their gap up to 9 seconds near enough. Not.
Oh, De Groot getting a little wiggly there. Open the door for Butler.
Might see some movement here. Now we have pit window open, so everyone has 10 minutes to do their pit stop. We'll have to see when people take it, especially those that are participating in these really tight battles. That could be make it or it could be make it or break it, as we saw in the last race with Ewan Chuck.
I wager we'll see Ewan Chuck diving in fairly early again, trying to recreate his magic.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Butler right on the butthole of De Groot.
De Groot jumped into pits.
So De Groot is our first taker. So as we go on, shout out to G Burks, who's playing War Thunder. So we hop on board with Matt Higgs, who had a fantastic first race and has a really good second one, if we're honest, but can't seem to hold on to Verstappen as, or can't seem to, you know, take the fight to Verstappen as much as I think he was anticipating. Looks like Verstappen's really...
Higgs made up quite a gap over Verstappen in the pits last time, although it's going to be hard to do when he's stuck behind him.
Yeah,
so,
certainly.
as there shouldn't be any difference in the actual time of their pit stops.
So yeah,
it would be bold, but perhaps Higgs can pass Verstappen when they dive into pit lane.
Ooh, I don't know
Or
if he wants to do
more likely,
that.
I would expect they would not go into the pit at the same time. If Higgs wants to make up ground on him, he needs to go in perhaps a lap before or after.
Yeah, because as he has proven in the last race, his he has quite the pace. That said, it's not necessary if that is his fault or if Verstappen has just been dropping the ball. Verstappen giving us a little bit of a wiggle on the front straight.
True. I don't mean to armchair quarterback here, but given Higgs's clear pace advantage, I am amazed he hasn't already jumped into the pits just to get on a different sequence.
Yeah, and now they're coming up behind. Who is this? Is that Car Heroes? It is Car Heroes. So now there's traffic, and we're coming into a tight portion of the track. He's gonna get a yellow, a blue flag. Oh, Higgs making a move. Did I? Oh, but he got a terrible run out of that turn. Higgs is making a pass, and it's gonna complete. Yep, that's it. So Car Heroes pulls off and gives them the bows to the blue flag, but Higgs is now in first place. So Verstappen really needs to, you know, that was...
I'm sure Verstappen is channeling his inner Sebastian Vettel. They're just
Yeah.
singing for blue flags.
Blue flag, blue flag, blue flag. So, but they're still very close, within a quarter of a second. So if he wants to, flashing his lights for some reason, Verstappen wants to see, like, he's already losing time, down in another quarter of a second.
Absolutely, I just don't know what Verstappen can do here.
That might be the end of it. Well, he got a pretty good run out of that, but unfortunately there isn't a long straight to capitalize on it with. If he plays really cautiously these last few turns.
Pit? Yes, he is.
Okay, Verstappen is out. I'm not sure if that was the smartest move, but
I think it is. You gotta try something at this point. You want Chuck as well.
I think if he had played conservatively for the last turn and then just try to get the best run possible out of that last turn onto the front straight and make a pass attempt, he could have done it, because I think his real chance was in holding up Higgs, because he had the advantage on the good passing opportunities. But Ricciardo Navone is now stacking up Higgs. Although, yeah, Higgs being in this traffic may end up being worse for him than he would like.
Absolutely. This is why I think it was wise of Verstappen to dive in.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you thought smarter than I. It really depends.
Perhaps Verstappen was able to see the gaggle of cars in front of him and realize he would be entering right into all of those lapped cars.
Could be. We could see a 300 IQ play happening right now. It depends. Is Verstappen gonna get out when there is other traffic as well? Doesn't look like it.
And there goes Iwanchuk, hot on his tails.
So Verstappen and Iwanchuk both are coming out of the pits now, with what appears to be a totally clear track. So with 5 minutes left in our pit window, the track is clear. Verstappen and Iwanchuk both are going to get clean air. Now there's the potential that they could battle, although there is a pretty substantial gap between the two of them, so I wouldn't count on it too much.
Meanwhile, Higgs is still in traffic. Is he pitting? No.
An interesting choice, to be sure. His next target is De Groot. As
I think he's doubling down on his strategy right here. He got held up a little on that lap, but you know what? He's choosing to stay out, run some hard laps. I say go for it.
He is coming to a point in the track where it is going to get tighter, so he's got two players stacked up in front of him. Who is that? Iliberto? And I believe that is De Groot, yeah, so...
Yes, indeed. Not a good place for Matt Higgs here.
So Sanjay Alberto and Douglas DeGroat both holding up Matt Higgs. And not to say that these drivers are slow. Higgs is obviously a little bit faster, but he's coming up to them in probably the least ideal place on this track.
Indeed. Ooh.
Oh,
Would've
and having to
perhaps
fall in
liked to have
behind
seen a
DeGroat.
little bit more, yeah. DeGroat could have, given him the position, but at the same time, he is chasing the driver in front of him.
Yeah, they're battling. So Higgs, so it looks like whether intentionally or not, DeGroat went wide, allowing Higgs
Higgs
to
is
come
not
past.
getting any free passes here.
He is not. They're making him work for his position.
But it looks like he has some good clean air once he gets past this next Ferrari. Ooh.
Ooh, there. Yep. Okay. Oh, getting
Had to do it.
frustrated. Higgs, just pushed his way
Oh.
past. Sanjay and Douglas, now
But
still fighting.
had to make it happen.
He did. He did. I wonder how badly that's gonna do for him. He still has to pit. Only has 2 laps left, and that's his pit. So he pits in now.
Oh boy, but those were a rough couple laps, not really of his own doing. This is going to be close.
I think so too. So currently, Verstappen is what?
It's impossible to tell here.
Yeah, it's not saying. It's not coming up. No. Oh well. In
Track
case.
is down to an icy 23 degrees at this point.
Was that 71 in freedom units?
Yep, it's getting there. All right, here we come, folks.
Meanwhile, DeGroat has gotten passed by Ricardo Navone and is now losing the fight against Sanjay Alberto.
I'm not sure how Navone fell so far back in that pit sequence, but he should be running in front of this group.
Yeah. Navone hasn't
Meanwhile,
had the best
here
weekend.
we go. Verstappen rounding the final turn.
So let's see.
Higgs is away.
Higgs is away, but
very
he's
long
still
outlap.
caught up in the very long pit out.
Oh, I think Verstappen has this.
Oh, he does have to slow down.
He has this.
Oh yeah, he
Verstappen-
has this. Verstappen is back in the lead. Oh
and
yes.
Will Iwanchuk pass him now?
I think
Verstappen
Iwanchuk
gonna
might.
gain 2
I think it might.
No.
okay.
Oh,
Wow,
in
that is
case,
that is a
Verstappen now 2 positions above Iwanchuk and has the lead, a healthy lead as well. Beautifully
Yes.
done.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of saw that coming a little bit. Like Higgs, don't know why Higgs stayed out so long. Especially he stayed out 2 laps. Ooh, and got a drive-through penalty. Oh no, that is not good news. Well, I think it's safe to say he's not going to be finishing in the podium.
I'll tell you who that is good news for. Murray Iwanchuk.
Certainly.
Maybe looking at a easy 2nd position at this point.
It's not as though Matt Higgs was really a contender for the championship anyway. I mean, look at him, he sucks. But also
Terrible.
just hasn't raced. He's only raced in 2 races, including these.
That's a shame. I believe he absolutely had the top pace of everyone these 2 races.
It doesn't say why he got a drive-through. But I suspect it might have been pit lane.
He likely, threw off that limiter a little too soon, hoping to beat Verstappen out of there. Or perhaps he put it on a little too late. We'll never know.
And that's a risk you can take, but you got to live with, and looks like he is facing the consequences. Well, with that battle all but wrapped up, let's go look at Doug DeGroat versus Sanjay Alberto. A battle for 8th battle for 7th that we've been watching for a while now. 2 very competent drivers that have very different driving styles, but end up fighting with each other pretty much this whole race.
Oh, it is true. They're together here.
So,
little bumpy.
ooh, yep, a little bumpy. Looks like DeGroat's car is a little more handling oriented. Both cars, the 488 Ferrari and the 911 Porsche, are both very balanced, but
I see they're taking the NASCAR tandem drafting approach to this. If they work together, they might be able to chase down the leaders.
yes, well, they have quite the ways to go, but maybe they can do it in 7 minutes. I don't know. Ooh, getting a little bit brave on that braking zone, Mr. DeGroat. And going wide at the same time. if I remember correctly, the Porsche is down a little bit on straight line compared to the Ferrari, which I consider kind of our pH neutral. But still that extra.
Meanwhile, I want to shout out to Zoltan Kalmandi here, who is running a fantastic fourth, and with the forthcoming penalty to Higgs, that should give him a podium.
That's a good
Great
point.
job up there.
Oops, I keep clicking the wrong button. Yeah, and setting a 136 flat, that's a pretty good lap as well. Zoltan did, of course, qualify fourth, so that hasn't made any progress yet. But with that drive-through for Higgs,
Well,
only...
that one position gained is onto the podium, which, as we know, comes with a hefty, gigantic $20,000 bonus.
Oh, does it? Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Although even okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot. This Misano has an absolutely enormous pit zone, so a drive-through, any penalty here is absolutely terrible for anyone who has to commit one.
Basically, the next thing to disqualification.
Pretty much. Meanwhile, Douglas DeGroat's still hot on the tail of Sanjay Liberto.
Oh, something.
Oh, what happened? Whoa, whoa,
I'm
let's go
not
back.
Sure if this was lag or genuine mishandling.
Looked like mishandling, but maybe a little bit over-exaggerated by lag. Well, now Johnny Young
Unfortunate.
is battling with Douglas DeGroat. You know, it looks like Daniel Merchant has had a pretty good race so far today.
Pretty quiet.
Up to 5th from
Has Navone
11th.
on his tail.
Made up 6 positions, so he
Not
might win
bad.
our hard
Well
charger
done.
award. Especially a little more unknown of a quantity here. Has not participated in any race yet, so this is his debut in the ESR. Getting passed by Navone, that's not totally unexpected. Navone is a very competent driver. Ooh, getting really slidey out of that turn, but able to hold on. That was a good save. Also looked great. That might go on a promo material. So now up to 6th, but still got a 5 position advance on under his belt. Looks like the action is kind of slowed down a bit. Merchant's still holding on to Navone, but everyone's got at least a second or so gap between them. Look at Johnny Young versus Doug DeGroat. Doug DeGroat looks to have lost some time still, even after that incident caused him to fall behind Johnny Young. Oh yeah, sure enough. After serving his drive-through, Matt Higgs down to 4th place. Zoltan Kalmandi able to make
Still
up
in
space,
4th.
although Matt Higgs just passed him, so.
Oh. Wait, has Higgs already served? My goodness.
Yeah.
They did have quite a gap there. Well. I see Navone has got his way past Merchant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just commenting on that a little earlier.
Filiberto is catching the two of them.
Although
Keeping a little
Merchant
three-way fight.
has held on. He was losing time a little bit, but now has got back
Mhm.
up to under half a second from Navone.
Filiberto's absolutely catching them as well.
So it's definitely possible that we end up seeing a 3-way battle for 5th place here. Meanwhile, Doug DeGroat falling to almost 3 seconds behind Johnny Young. So it's clear he's not able to hold on at this current pace. Wonder if that might be damage related, or maybe his no, everyone took tires, so the can't be tire related. Oh, Merchant losing a lot of time on Ricardo Navone. So Sanjay Liberto is right behind him. Sanjay making a dive. Very clean pass. Very well done.
Beautiful lunge for Forza Ferrari. Can he get that
Yeah,
top
let's
5?
take a look at that again.
Oh, this is getting close. Oh, Cole, I hope you're watching this live.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Oh, a slight tap to the rear of Alberto.
Oh.
And
Oh
that
yeah, I did
Ferrari
see
is
that. Okay.
spinning.
Oh no, so Merchant and Young both by, as well as DeGroat and Butler. Oh, Butler had to dodge a accident there. So,
From
Sandra,
fighting to 5th to 10th. Unfortunate
oh,
there.
that's unfortunate, definitely. Especially considering he qualified 7th.
Meanwhile, up front, our leaders are far apart.
Johnny Young, though, now in the fight for 6th place with Daniel Merchant.
And all that nonsense there definitely gave Navone a chance to run away.
Oh, Young got past Merchant. And Navona's just gone, yeah. He's out of here. He's on he's on the flight home already, probably.
Like, it's gonna be one more lap to go for Christoph Verstappen.
Although, for all the fanfare, John Barker now fighting for Car Heroes and making a nice pass attempt as they start their last lap.
Got him.
Nice.
Well done, John Barker.
So, still quite a ways to Butler. He's not going to make that up in one lap, but making some progress.
Ooh, Verstappen. Coming to the final, is he gonna let off? He might.
I don't know,
just
you
to make
might.
this the end. Yes.
Flashing the headlights in the traditional
Yep,
victory.
it has finished.
Yep, so that is the end of the race. Christoph
You want
Verstappen
Chuck?
is our first place.
Another great damage mitigating race. 2nd place.
And Matt Higgs rounding. Wow, I didn't. Something must have gone wrong. Oh no, yeah, he had a drive-through, right?
Of course.
I was like, wow, that was. Still seems a little too far back.
Matt Hayes comes in impressive, but I'm sure very frustrating 3rd place.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I can't say I wasn't watching. Ooh, Car Heroes. Ooh, he locks it up, but is able to save, keep him off the
4th
wall.
place.
So Zoltan
Navone 5th
Kalmandi.
place.
Yeah. Zoltan Kalmandi didn't make any progress off the quali, but still
Johnny Young.
good position. Johnny Young. And everyone doing
Mr.
donuts in the.
Merchant and DeGroot.
Everyone doing donuts
Yes.
in the infield.
This is indeed the rally cross section of the track.
Yes. Oh, everyone's hitting each other now.
Alrighty. Want to give us
Alright.
a little rundown of these final results, Mr. McCray?
Yes, absolutely. So, our final setup. If I can, I took a screenshot, so when they start leaving, they can. It won't affect us here. Maybe. Okay, so for our final, we have in race 2 of round 10 of the ESR Blancpain GT3 Series in Assetto Corsa Competizone, we have our winner, Christoph Verstappen in the Bentley Continental, followed by Murray Iwanchuk and Matt Higgs to round off our podium. In 4th, Zoltan Kalmandi having an interesting race, but pretty calm overall in 4th. Ricardo Navone in our top 5. Johnny Young in 6th. Daniel Merchant and Doug DeGroat start out our Porsches in the lineup, followed by James Butler. Putting a large number of spaces in between him and John Barker, his rival. So that will be pretty. It won't be the last word in their fight, but it will be a pretty good punctuation. Meanwhile, Sanjay Eliberto in 10th, losing 3 positions, followed by John Picha, John Barker, and Car Heroes rounding our our entire field. So, in 2 weeks, we go to Paul Ricard for the final round of the GT3 series. Unfortunately, we don't have updated scoring right now, so I can't speak too much to the results going into that race right now.
Looking at the top 2, it doesn't take a wizard to see that with Murray Iwanchuk losing 2 points in the first race and then picking up 2 points and then losing 2 points to Verstappen in the second race. They emerge 5 points, still separated heading into the final round.
It's true. It's true. Johnny Young probably could have had a better race, but ends up probably not losing really any because he had such a large discrepancy between Wesley Stokes, who didn't show up for this race. So
Yes, with Stokes, Stoffmule, and Anderson all not taking part, as well as Hutchinson missing the second race, I think it's safe to say Johnny Young has held on to his third place.
I won't say anything too for certain right now, but right now it seems like he kind of has it locked down. So there's certainly plenty of stuff to happen, especially for the first place. So Murray and Chuck and Christoph Verstappen, as well as I can't see John Barker, unfortunately, going so far back. He'll have quite a battle, and as we come to round 11, and unfortunately, Paul Ricard is another one of those circuits with plenty of long straights, so his Honda NSX might struggle. Won't say anything for certain yet, but we will have to definitely see. And yeah, really, most of the others are our back runners, so people who don't come all that often, so we can't say anything for certain, but it's not too likely much is going to happen there. For the team championship, Virtual Apex is still handling the lead with over 200 points between them and Boca Al Lupo in second place. Cos Motorsports sitting a comfortable third. But they might get caught up by Body Pillow at some point, so we might see a battle for the podium in the team championship. That's not to say Nine Shitza won't as well, but we haven't seen Kaspari or Mike Magus for quite some time, so it's not to say that anything's necessarily going to happen. In any case, that is all I have to say. You excited for the last race in this series, Mr. Tobin?
Oh, one way or another, I'll be watching it. You've got me hooked now.
Oh yeah, glad to see
I
right at the
really
end.
want to see this last race.
Goody goody gumdrops. That sounds like a plan. Well, in any case, that is all for our round 10. I hope you all have a great time. Don't get coronavirus. I mean, unless you really want to, but I don't know why you would. Anyway, hope to see you all there. Look forward to seeing how our last race of the season finishes. And yeah, everyone have a good time. Catch you then.